Hello everybody, welcome back to this YouTube channel. Today will be the second part of the mini experiment series. Now I'm going to be experimenting with pulsars now, which is the first time I'm not doing anything in this solar system. I'll be experimenting with pulsars that will be related to the solar system. Like, it'll be pulsars that will be related to the solar system, yeah. So now, there will be two experiments just like always, because it's mini experiments. There's always going to be two small experiments. Now they're going to be related to pulsars. You can call them neutron stars. And the first experiment is going to be colliding a pulsar to the Earth. If you haven't realized yet, pulsars are actually kind of small, but they're really dense. So for this example, we're going to be using the Crab Pulsar. You can see how small it is compared to the Earth. And we're going to press the launch button. So we're going to be launching it in 3, 2, 1, and this happens. You can see the Earth looks like this. It now has an accretion disk and basically turned into a star at this point. As you can notice, it looks like a star, but it doesn't have temperature. But as time goes on, it will get temperature. Let me just go ahead and get the simulation up again so we can see a slower version of this, because it happened really fast. So let's make a slower version of this by setting the clock down to less than a second. So let me put it to less than a second. See, this is like half a second. I want to show you how half a second is for the pulsar. We're going to do this again with half a second. You can see Earth is completely starting to break apart. The temperatures are going up, like, look at this. The temperature's going up. It's not even it's literally just going half a second and temperature's already going up. So that means life can literally instantly die. It's already going up to 1,000 degrees. You can see it's now heating up. The pulsar is getting closer and closer. And and look at this. It's literally very hot now. And it almost literally crashed. It literally freezes the game because of how this happened. You can see so many fragments completely shooting off at temperatures that are super high. So now if we speed times up, yeah, you can see Earth is now a pulsar at this point, because now it has an accretion disk and basically it turned into like a pulsar or something. So now there's going to be a second experiment, and it was suggested before by somebody. So now I'm going to be replacing the sun with a pulsar, but here's the thing. The radius of the pulsar will be the same as the mass. So now I'll be replacing the sun with the Crab Pulsar, which is the example pulsar I'm going to be using. The Crab Pulsar mass is 1.4 mass of the sun, and it's just 11 kilometers. And keeping the same temperature, I'm going to set the radius. Let me do this again because I think I messed it up. So let me just do this again. I think I messed up the mass. So basically, we're going to be making the Crab Pulsar become the center star. But here's the catch. I'm going to make the mass, which is 1.4 mass the sun. And the radius is also going to be 1.4 suns. So now it's getting bigger and bigger. Now it's one Earth. Now, as you can notice, we're going to set it to 1.4 suns and the surface temperature is almost going to stay the same thing. What happens if we keep the surface temperature but the radius is the same as the mass? So now 3, 2, 1, let me slow that time down because it'll happen everything fast, but look at this. Completely doomed. It just exploded. I don't know what happened, but this is what happens if the sun became if the pulsar was the same mass as the sun. Let me do this experiment again to confirm that this is true, or maybe something's wrong. So let's just do this thing again. So I'm going to be replacing an object, and it will be replaced with the Crab Pulsar. We should pause the time because it's going to cause problems if we don't. So let's do another replay of this experiment and auto orbit all the stars. And now Crab Pulsar, we're going to keep it's going to be active, but now I'm going to be gradually increasing it to the same mass. So now the radius is, it does explode if we try doing it. So I'm going to have to do it multiple times, but I'll be showing you. It is kind of hard to do that. You have to set the radius up because it's a pulsar, so it's going to be hard to do it, but you did see the results. It did explode, but I can tell you something. If it was like that, you could have saw the habitable zone was over here. So it means the habitable zone will be very far, but not as far as the time when I did the 1 million Kelvin sun, which was even further. So this is what happens if a pulsar was the same mass as the sun. So I'm going to be doing it one more time. If it doesn't work, then I guess the video ends. So now I will be replacing the object, and it's going to be another pole. It's going to be the same thing, Crab Pulsar. And here we go. The radius is now the same size as the mass. The density is like very hot it's very much. So now 1.41 and set the luminosity up. Let's see what happens if I set this to auto orbit and explodes. That pulsar is not able to contain the radius for this insanity. But you could have seen the Earth is literally torrid right now. So anyways, that concludes the video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye, everyone.